Hello, everybody. Wow. Okay, we had some technical problems, but I think we have it figured out, and I'm really excited to see all of you and to be here. As you know, my name is David Paskin. I am your Torah Tech Guy, and my job is to give you great tech for your great Torah. Unmute was born out of saying so many times over the past year, please unmute, or you need to unmute. And what I realized is that telling someone to unmute isn't just a technical request. The best Jewish education is when we lift up our students' voices and allow everyone to become a teacher of their own Torah. So this broadcast strives to amplify the voices of those who are unmuting their students and adding more voices to the Jewish narrative in digital space. So let's get started.
ourselves and our Torah and our Torah's wisdom. I really want to go back there and amplify that. I think there's a real distinction between the Sabbath and Yontiv and weekdays, at least in our community. I want to celebrate what other folks have found that works in theirs, but in ours, I want to really say that presence and human presence for the Sabbath and Yontivs will really take on, and we won't be putting permanent cameras within the inner sanctum because we want it to be the inner private in-person sanctum that it was and can remain, despite going into the Zoomosphere, into the Zoom architecture, and trying to get better kavanah during the weekday prayers. The discussion is going on a philosophical level is whether or not there is a meeting the needs of that on again a philosophical level, whether there are really kind of that space serves to create the Sabbath and the holiday experience that's been defined by years and years of tradition, by years and years of philosophical thinking about what those spaces we need for those purposes really are. And if you think about the purposes of what you're going for, space serves us that way. So when we enter spaces, we kind of can think about them as in and of themselves having holiness, or like you said, are being able to find sanctity within them. And I already sense that the way we are thinking about Zoom or these synchronous softwares that have windows and the faces versus the spaces, that they give us the chance to see the image of God before us. They give us the chance to inhabit a different spot than each other, and thusly there's kind of a coming together there. We're going to get better at being able to have a cacophony of voices raise up ancient Hebrew or great singing or song. I think that this time period has shown us we want to get there so that we can inhabit the space. And I, by the way, believe there's going to be architectural features to virtual spaces that we're going to not just see on screens. We'll probably be able to install little things on the and say a public thanks again for the power of bringing text into people's computers who might never have sought to screen a Jewish text before in their lives, and now understand that there's a library with endless shelves available online. I think that was really cool. The notion that we could embed a YouTube, a Spotify, a link to a song, other platforms for music, uh, that we can embed song, we can embed visual art, we could really bring out the world of the link to the greatest poetry from the Poetry Foundation online. These kind of hypertexts that inherently were part of Jewish sources to begin with, like the prayer book is a bunch of collected verses and collected images. We expanded that in such a deep way this year in our study, in my study. Also, Talmud study fundamentally got a little bit more expansive in the way that I could bridge, and there are conferences on this that I attended as a head of school back when I was working in the Schechter movement. The bridge between scholarship and Jewish communal life, whether it was day schools, educational delivery, Hebrew schools, or Jewish community learning at synagogues. So scholarly articles that could be kind of screened and digested all at once in the context of a class that wasn't necessarily like, look at this syllabus, read the following 5 articles, and let's digest it. So extending a page of Talmud with research about ancient Roman law or the way gladiation unfolded and why we were part of the business of violence in ancient Rome and why the Mishnah sought to limit that business. These were kind of ways that we brought scholarship to life, again, on screen. And even though you could get there with a handout or another in a class, somehow curating it online felt really wonderful, natural, and like it woke up learning in a different way. Like, how sometimes you're in the midst of an experience and then you kind of hear a teacher's lesson at just the right time. Like sometimes it takes a decade, sometimes it takes 2, and all of a sudden you realize it was like a drop of dew at the top of the blade of grass, and it just kind of trickles down. It's like, yes, it's now in my soil. So Rabbi Mickey Rosen was drushing about, what does it mean to be a shliach tzibur? What does it mean to be a prayer leader saying Shema out loud? and singing it? Am I trying to sing over everyone to give them the tune? Am I trying to harmonize? Am I trying to just blend? Am I trying to make myself the fertile soil of prayer life? So I think that these many months of looking at ourselves on the Zoom screen, we use primarily Zoom, so I keep going back there, or the Teams meetings we had in Microsoft. We looked at ourselves, we watched ourselves. It was a good time for a cheshbon. Um, and that self-awareness that's born of that, of knowing that your picture there is on the screen, I think was very healthy for a while. So it will change us in the future. Uh, we have to take that into the next phase of think what we don't often do is celebrate the diversity of Jewish potentials and amplify them enough through the umbrella organizations. So what I would want a little bit more in that vein of this discussion of the unaffiliated is for us to go on, we're each other's best PR sometimes, and we don't capitalize on that. So try to connect in, amplify your Jewish roots, walk through the door. We don't need to be. Not everyone needs the place to say we are radically welcoming. Maybe some of that saying we are radically welcoming is a little bit intimidating even. So we like the very opposite sometimes might be happening to someone. I'm not totally criticizing again, because I like the diversity of Jewish places and spaces and doorways. But we ought to be reminding people that they have Jewish roots and it's yours for the taking. And there's a ton of different possibilities. And here I was so scared at first, and this feels so familiar now, and that's okay. Well, it's familiar, and it's for making a new appreciation happen in life. It's beyond hakarat tov. It's beyond recognizing the good and having gratitude. It's amplifying. It's investing in what being together, what saying shalom to each other can be about, what discursive conversation can really lead us towards, which paths we can find that we might not have had if we just stayed online. And I do believe that as we celebrate the various gateways and paths and the both and approach that you just said, that if we get really embrace, get excited about, share our passion for the complementary elemental parts of Jewish life that link us back to thousands of years of tradition, then we will have so many opportunities to invite people to the proverbial Shabbos table. Secondly, food together for Shabbat, for a holiday. That experience that people had where they shared meals, over time, if they ate the same thing, there are ways to make this experience richer. So anybody who wants to celebrate and wants to enrich their celebration by figuring out how they're going to use these spaces to share an experience, that's another way that I think Torah has come out at this time. Let's all be here together and do and eat the same and bless at the same time. Then there is wow, did we enjoy that? Let's really endeavor to get there and come together for a simcha now. I think getting back to where I'm really holding, there is a difference between striving to get everybody together in the same room for the bar or bat mitzvah and having the bar mitzvah child stand next to the 82-year-old Holocaust survivor Gabbai versus just keeping it at the level of the digital experience for those moments. So we will have to choose when the tool, when the tech, when the ancient tech is the right tech for us to amplify our humanity and to create more potential within the Jewish expression of commitment that we're all making.
If the tech that you're using doesn't enrich the experience and help you share Torah, you're using the wrong tech. And when I use the word tech there, I mean, I'm thinking, like Torah all-encompassing. Chairs are tech. A sanctuary is to every, right? If Zoom is not enriching the connection and the Torah, then stop using it and get together in person or go for a walk in Central Park, whatever.
Yeah. I want to celebrate for a minute what our educator in our community has done with some of her work with our Hebrew school and our Hebrew and day school families who come together for learning, which I think we've done really wonderfully. And that's kind of one of these questions that I always had as a rabbi coming out of the day school world. Will I be able to bridge my day school families and my Hebrew school families or public school families who have private Jewish tutors, which is yet a third way that people are really engaging and embracing Jewish learning these days. So anyway, we've created these kind of black box theaters online to use those old Parsha plays that everybody used in camp, right? And had the kids dress up with different costumes and put them in a Zoom box and rehearse a couple times, and then call the community together to witness those Parsha plays or a play about Purim, and to really take such pride in the kids gaining this literacy and knowing the narratives and Hebrew gain and seeing them interact using this kind of synchronous software. That has been a real way. So the elements of drama involved over this time with our children have been wonderful. Hebrew learning in of itself was sometimes even better because you could have one-on-one little interactions in side rooms, and lots of people have talked about, for those who were able to really focus in on tech, learning language has been really wonderful for them. But this other element of the narrative, because life is so full of tech for these kids, that the narratives of our tradition, of our Torah, of our Tanakh, the holidays coming through with these interactive plays, it was a wow.
Yeah.
They learned Kabbalat Shabbat. Our first through fifth graders really, learned Kabbalat Shabbat this year and how to lead through an all Hebrew Kabbalat Shabbat and become familiar with the Hebrew that they didn't sing themselves.
Wow. In
a way that we never could have in our synagogue building.
Wow.
And then they were able to sing Shiru Adonai Shir Chadash, and you saw these little faces singing to God, celebrating Shabbos on the weekend that they got to lead Kabbalat Shabbat with me. And it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful.
Wow. That's amazing. I have no idea what this whole broadcast that we just did looked like on YouTube or Facebook, or if it even got there. I'm hoping that it was recorded on my end, but I'm just, honest to goodness, Rabbi Bolton, I'm so honored to have learned with you for these past 40 minutes. Your Torah is delicious. It's so delicious, and I'm so grateful to you for your time. And if for whatever reason this didn't make it out there, and if for whatever reason I don't have a recording and I can't just post it, I want to do it again, because the world needs to hear you, and just so beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
You're so welcome. I really want to thank you. You posted this, fact that you were doing this exploration, that you were seeking Chavruta. You embody the values of a contemporary and yet ancient soul of the Jewish people. You embody that, and you are asking, what is this that we're doing? Yeah. How have we done our mitzvot? What are the Jewish endeavors we're undertaking? How are we amplifying Torah through the individual souls of Jewish people? You made me think more deeply about the kind of delivery systems and the kind of engagement I've had all year through the pandemic. It was sustaining, preparing for today, thinking about it, but moreover to meet like this again. What a Kiddush Hashem in the midst of this new playing field of our lives we have. So thank you. That's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
For really creating that space.
You're so welcome. Thank you. I'm so grateful to you, Rabbi Bolton, and to all of you. I want to remind everyone before we go that coming up on June 27th, yes, is our Torah Tech Summit. If you go to TorahTechSummit.com, we have Rabbi Ingber, Rabbi Scott Lesser, Joshua Lesser, amazing leaders from audio companies, from Cinemaker, from live streaming company. They're all going to be there to teach us the tech and how we can best share our Torah as we plan for the high holidays and beyond. So go to TorahTechSummit.com, and while you're online, I want to invite you. Oh, I just pressed the wrong button. That's okay. While you're online, I want to invite you also to head over to TorahTechGuy.com. That's where you will find videos and links and gear and everything that you need to help you get the job done. Share your Torah, because that's what this is all about. So again, a huge thank you, and Shabbat Shalom to Rabbi Bolton and to all of you. And I hope we'll see you next time on Unmute. Bye, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Thanks again.